Hi everyone, I'm here and I'm here to do a Q&A. And until that point, I'm going to talk a little bit about who I am. Sorry. And the reason for that is because, in case some of you are new, my name is Manda. And last year I started a vlog called Being Camp Mom. And it was to document my journey through homelessness because I was experiencing, I was homeless. I didn't have a home and I was going through medical treatment and it was really rough. And so I wanted to show what it was like without the stereotypes and without the filters, and show what it was like from my perspective, because my perspective seemed to be a little different. So I started that, and now I'm a community liaison with the city of Seattle. I have my own company called Being, and I also have Manda J Photography. I do photography as well. So that's about me, and I'm here to answer questions. So, if people have questions, now is the time to start asking them. Um, okay, I guess there's no questions. Ah, so I will go on a little more about me and what it was like being homeless. Doing well, doing a Q&A. There haven't been any questions so far, so I'm still at this juncture talking about my start in being camp mom and how it led to, you know, um, you know, in wanting to share my journey, and through that, thank you. I appreciate that, Patrick. Does anybody have any questions for me at this point? I will wait a minute to see if anybody has any questions. Okay. What was the most touching thing someone has done for you, and what makes it stand out in your mind? That is a very tough question. Very difficult. And here is the reason why. To speak of the most touching, or I have a hard time dealing in favorites. I have a hard time dealing in the most touching or the. So I will give you a very touching moment. A very touching moment from when I was homeless was, and this is one I don't think I've told. I'm not sure. I don't handle cold well. And so I was, as we called it, letting my homeless fly. And I was bundled up. Like, I think I had like 4 or 5 layers on. And I was out with Austin because we had to spange or panhandle. And I was still having a hard time adjusting from life as a housewife and mother to being on the streets and the way people looked at me. It was near Christmas time. And Austin was with me from the guy. I mean, he was mom with me. It was wonderful. He was a very big support. And there was a couple that were walking along the sidewalk. And in my head, I didn't realize that I looked any different than anyone else. I had forgotten that I looked homeless. I've always kind of been an eclectic dresser, whatever. So, and if it's cold, if I want to dress like a snowman, whatever, but I guess if, you're hanging out with somebody else that looks homeless, But we were walking down the sidewalk, And this man and this woman were walking, and they were dressed pretty nicely. And the man pulled the woman out of the way in a very protective manner, as if we were dangerous. I mean, like really, really protectively. And I think just something in me at that point broke a little bit. And I started really crying because I didn't understand. I was so tired of, I had only been on the streets like a month and a half, and I was just so tired of being shunned and being looked at shamefully. And I was like, there's no reason to be scared of me. I've not done anything. Why? And Austin just looked at me and he said, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. They don't know you. They have no idea. They have no idea how wonderful you are. They have no idea that you're a good person. They're just scared because you're homeless. And then from that point, he went back and made sure that I had some coffee made at camp. And him and Gypsy and Derek sat in my tent because I was having trouble sleeping, because I was really just struggling emotionally. And they would stay and talk so that I felt safe enough to take my meds and go to sleep so that I could get a good night's sleep. And it really touches my heart still, because it was such a caring gesture. And there's so many of those kind of stories throughout my time. And my second question here, Patrick, is my family in my life now? That's such a funny question to me. My family's always been in my life. My son, my daughter, they're in my life. It's you have to go down the list of who the family members are. My biological family, if you're going to talk aunts, uncles, grandparents are dead, parents are dead. Parents were horrible people. Well, no, okay, they're not horrible people. Parents were very troubled people who had abusive tendencies and addiction issues. Of course not. Those, people who are negative, regardless of whether those are family or friends, are no longer in my life. My children, of course, are in my life. That's a given. As far as online goes, when my grandbaby was born last year, I definitely posted pictures of that. You can see that on my Being Camp Mom page. After that, my son quit talking to me. I'm overbearing, and as far as I knew, they quit talking to everybody in the family. I don't know what happened with. I know last I knew they were homeless with the baby, and there was nothing I could do. So, I mean, what do you do in that situation? On the flip side, my daughter graduated college. And on the other side, I have another daughter that's being raised by her father. She's 17 because he got custody when my last head injury was so bad. So you see, everyone has so many facets to their story. People want to ask a lot of times, where is this person? Where is that person? And like a lot of times when people saw my Invisible People story, I looked at the comments underneath and I was really shocked there was a lot of, why is no one helping her? And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, I got tons of people helping me. But, like, there's just not, like, the thing is you're helped, of course. People are giving you supplies and things like that. But I'm disabled, so I am definitely using the tools that are provided to me. But I'm using the tools until I can get to a place of stability. And as everybody sees, housing works, okay? Look, obviously housing works. I'm just gonna. I just want to throw that out there because I know that there has definitely been some comments on that I look much better since I've been in housing. And here's the thing, there's even been some more medical issues that have cropped up since I've been in housing. And I'm still handling them pretty well. And opening businesses. What was the most surprising aspect of being homeless that I wish everyone knew? Oh, there are so many surprising aspects of homelessness. Um, I would have to say the surprising subculture, that it is a society within itself. Um, that it's people. It's people. And that's why I have such a really hard time when you're dealing with communities and the argument is we don't want homeless in our community, or we don't want homeless in our neighborhoods. The issue I have with that is, once someone is integrated into the neighborhood and they're housed, they're part of the neighborhood. They're part of the community. They're no longer part of that vulnerable population. What we need to do is work on integrating. It's not an issue of keeping people out. It's integrating successfully. And so I think some of the attitudes need to be changed on that. However, I did have someone bring up a very good point the other day, and that point is that homelessness does not cause diseases. Okay? Homelessness is a health risk because of this. There are things that contribute to a person's health. There is your environment, there is your genetics, and there is how you were brought up, your nurturing, because that also has an effect on your cells and your physical being. Now, your housing is considered your environment because shelter contributes to a lot of health factors. That is why housing is a health issue, is because shelter contributes to so many factors that impact our health that it causes issues. And when you are without shelter, it makes it so much harder to then go and get the help you need to then sustain yourself having those issues. So I just wanted to explain that. Somebody had just asked a question. If you could come back and ask it again. I can't see the comments. Trying to. Oh, there we go. Did I have any scary moments while being homeless? Oh my. I definitely did. Okay, I'll relate this one story. The hard thing is I don't, with the frontal lobe injuries I've had, fear is a little different. I've been surprised. It's more of a danger sensor. Fear is different. But fearful would be like, okay, so sitting there at camp, and Gypsy, and I'm trying to remember who else was with her, but they had just left. It was a few people, and they had just gone. And I'm sitting there at camp, and it's me and Rowan. And I'm sitting there, and I was smoking some marijuana, and I was sitting by the fire. I had just gathered a bunch of firewood. I'm relaxing. It had been a long day, and the sun is going down, so it's like right in that thing where it's like twilight. And I see this guy like coming in, and it's like a video game almost, because it was like, and I'm like, what is going on? And he's holding machete. So in my head, I'm like, this is not real, okay? Um, I'm just going to throw this out here. Marijuana does not cause that. Marijuana does not cause that. So I thought, I'm seeing things. I'm having a mental break. Homelessness has now gotten to me, okay? Homelessness has now caused a mind snap, and I'm just seeing people roaming around with machetes. This is crazy. And then I'm like realizing, oh no, this is very real. There is a guy down there screaming, and he's advancing up the trail, and I'm here in camp by myself. Rowan is losing it. So she is, as soon as he hits camp, she's immediately there, and she's on it. She's rah, 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 rah. And I'm just like, okay, I can't think of anything to grab, but there's a fire going. And I was being lazy, and I didn't want to chop up one of the sticks because it was still kind of green. And so I was burning it to where like there was still part of it, so it was long. And it wasn't like huge long, but it was like a little sticky out of the fire. Well, I just grabbed that because it was still burning, so it was like a torch, and I just met him down there, and I was like, oh no. Well, come to find out, the reason he was threatening us, well, threatening me and Rowan, and I pointed that out too. Like, how big of a person do you have to be to come up into this camp with a machete trying to threaten me and my dog? Like, for real. Carry your ass. Get going. Like, but I had the torch. Like, I had a big stick of fire. Like, don't even, and Rowan's going off. And so, I mean, I was protected. And after finding out that his camp had been thrashed, like, he had what we would call tweakers go through his things and had stolen things from him. And he didn't know us, and he didn't know our camp. So he had assumed it was us. Once he had came up upon our camp, realized who we were, was like, oh, big mistake, and was like, and left. But I was left going, wow, so that like really happened. So yeah, there was a guy with a machete. I think I talked about that on my Being the Camp Mom vlog too. But yeah, that was quite the experience. That was definitely interesting. Ooh, what event caused me to be homeless? That's always a wonderful question, and here's why. I don't think anybody in it's hard to say in a lot of our situations. That is so thought-provoking because it's not just one event that caused it. For example, in my situation, brain injury was the main cause that led to homelessness. It is what destroyed a lot of the relationships in my family, that caused the seizures, which caused the behavioral changes, which caused me pulling my hair out, which caused the screaming, which caused non-communication, which caused a divorce, which caused my ex-husband taking my seizure meds away, which caused a friend moving in and me leaving my ex-husband's house because they got together. There's a pattern. You can't say one thing leads, I would say brain injury caused my homelessness, but I could also say that it was the choice of, in my marriage, not taking care of my own financial stability. I would say that from about 20 years, now that I'm turning 40, if I look and really self analyze over every single choice I've made, I would say that there are probably thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of mistakes that I could have changed. I could have changed the course of my life. I could have changed everything. I could have been a better parent. I could have stopped. Maybe I could have changed the world faster. Maybe, I don't know. I could have bought a home. I could have been better. I could have had a career better. I could have not been brain injured. I would have made better choices. But I didn't. So I don't know. I don't know what the one thing was. But I know that on April 1st of 2016, I walked out of my ex-husband's house and I flew to Montana. And in Montana, I started to get medical help. And I had a brother and sister there that were my half brother and sister that I hadn't met for a very long time in my life, like 30 years. And they were very helpful. We were not close. And I think that they helped me just enough. And anything else, if I would have stayed, could have gotten very destructive. And it didn't. And I'm glad for that. And I'm thankful for that. And I came to Seattle in November of when my son was on the streets here because he left Louisiana at the same time pretty much I did. And I met him up at the camp, and that's when I became camp mom. And the story goes on from there. And somebody asked to see my dog. And so this is Rowan. Her name is Rowan, and she's amazing. Ro, would you like to say hello? Oh, I got to keep it like this. I got to keep the device like this. Rowan, would you like to say hello? She's not real interested in saying hello. She's kind of sleepy right now. Do I still speak to who? You asked if I still speak to them. Who did you mean by them? Oh, the family I moved in with after leaving your husband. Oh, no. My brother, I've sent, he sent me a message or two, and I've sent him a message or two. I honestly don't harbor any ill feelings towards my brother. My sister, I mean, they've got their own ways of thinking. No, we were raised apart. All right, we're not. There is no bond there. With my brother there is, because, my brother helped me through some hard time. He contacted me, when I lived in Louisiana, and wrote to me and things like that, and he still checks on me, from time to time. We're not close. I mean, it's not like, but our family's not. This is a dysfunctional, abusive, drug-addled, torn-apart family. Of course, there's lack of communication, and these are not normal relationships, and so all of us have learned to keep our distance to maintain normal relationships and keep ourselves healthy so that we don't perpetuate unhealthy behaviors through that. This is so no, we don't. I mean, my sister, I hurt her feelings. No, foster care raised me and I raised myself. I had Jan. Jan asked if my mother raised me. My mother was in my life until I was 3. I had wonderful times with my grandparents. I had some wonderful times with aunts and uncles. My father was a brutal man. We went into foster care at early age, and then I was on my own at 15 years old. Went back into the foster care system for about a year after that, after I came back into the system for a while, and then I was on my own again. So raising is a term that I use loosely because I think I was raised by... Oh, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. Oh my gosh, am I blessed? I had so many wonderful, wonderful role models in my life. Like, I got to pick and choose and like sort through and be like, ooh, that's really bad. And then like, ooh, that's a wonderful one. And then like, you know. And so I had some people that were just amazing that I could just take some wonderful qualities from and really apply that to my life. So it was just awesome. My grandparents are deceased. Was it difficult having a dog when I was homeless? It was more difficult in... It was... How am I going to phrase this? It was more difficult to not have a dog. Feeding her is as easy as feeding myself. It's just as hard to feed myself as it is her. She doesn't eat that much more than me. And her companionship and her being there for me means the world. You know, Rowan has been there in a capacity for me in ways that like humans just can't. Like, people don't go to doctor's appointments and sit with you. People don't do that. People leave you alone. And she doesn't. So, and if I was scared, and even now, if I'm in public and my heart starts to race, and I'm feeling like everything is just too much, I know she's always watching behind me. She's always watching to the side of me. She's always making sure that no matter what, I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about somebody sneaking up on me. I don't have to worry about constantly watching. I don't have to worry about constantly being on guard. Because she has my back. Like, for real, has my back. Like, Rowan has my back. In a very real way. So I would say Rowan is the best thing that happened to me while I was homeless, I would have to say. Or the best. I hate saying thing because she's not a thing. She is a sentient being that deserves all the love and respect that I can give her. And she is spoiled every time I can do so. Aren't ya? Are you spoiled? And you don't care. She does not care at all. She is so sleepy. Okay, is there any other questions? No? What can we do to help you create a life that you love? Okay. What can we do to help you create a life that you love? Exactly what's happening here. Asking questions, being attentive, communication, empathy, compassion. I think those things are important. I think that me creating a life that I love comes from knowing that not only do I believe in myself, but I'm not alone in that. I'm not alone in the people that believe in me. Because I think sometimes that can be a lonely place to be too. And so I think to have messages of positivity, messages of across the board, it's the same for when I try to do that for others. That's part of me creating the life that I love, spreading kindness. When people spread kindness to me, that helps me. When people, I want them to know when they're thanking me for inspiration, I want to thank them because it inspires me when they send me kindness as well. Those are supportive things to me. So those are the things that people can do, is just keeping kind, keeping supportive, keeping loving. So I'm going to end this Q&A because we've hit a half hour and it's my bedtime. So my company, I got the formation papers and I'm working on the website, and it is activebeing.org, and it is in Washington. Seattle to be exact, and I will be more forthcoming with the details later on, and I'm hoping against all hope, because you have to realize that website development skills are new to me. I am hoping to have this up and running along with my photography site by the end of this weekend. Thank you. Oh, the name again of the company is the name of the company is Being LLC. And the website will be activebeing.org, but it is still in the coming soon phase. So everybody have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you later. Bye.